us.
There we go. Alright, same starting Robot Masters as last time.
Yep, we got Concrete Man on MrCab's end and Splash Woman on Infinite Mystery's end. For Infinite Mystery, Splash Woman is one of the general stages you probably would start on. Splash Woman is the only Robot Master in this game that would deal double damage to the Buster. And it's a generally straightforward stage. So Splash Woman will probably be a general casual starting point. Meanwhile, MrCab is probably starting on the general speedrun route, as Concrete Man's weapon is one of the best weapons in the game. And there are much better places for utilities in other stages compared to Concrete Man. So MrCab is getting Concrete Man out of the way early.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to thank SpeedGaming for hosting the MM9 Any Tournament, and shoutouts to HJA for essentially putting this all together.
MrCab trucking along very smoothly right now. Go take care of the last bit of platforming before going to Concrete Man door. Put a little more focus on MrCab right now as he's about to fight Concrete Man. Concrete Man, we want him to stay on the ground as much as possible. Anytime he's in the air is a little bit of a time sink. And as you can see, if he's close enough, he's actually able to throw all three of his concrete shots and just place it in one spot, so you don't have to worry about the concrete shot spread.
Yeah, that's pretty much the one thing that's keeping... Ooh! And Infinite Mystery jumped right into the block there and Splash One stage. He has to go all the way back to the bottom of the bubble section. But yeah, that's the one thing I still need to learn in this game, is that concrete shot is the one thing that was really keeping me out of this tournament. Is I could not figure that out by myself.
So we got MrCab going to Magma Man stage. Magma Man stage, well, let's talk about the route in general. This, as far as MrCab's routing goes, and in general, for most general veteran runners of the game, you won't be going a weakness route. The routing is mostly based on which stage uses specific utilities, and most specifically the Rush Jet. Because in 5 Robot Masters, that's where you finally get the Rush Jet. So MrCab is routing the game in such a way where you get the Rush Jet in the stages where it's most useful.
Yeah, so 9 is unique in that sense because generally Rush Jet's tied to a specific Robot Master, but in this game it's more how many of you have done.
Use the concrete shot to quickly destroy the Chanky Makers as he goes through the rest of the stage. This stage has some really treacherous jumps, of which one of the main uses of concrete shot, it also makes a small little platform. It makes making wider gap jumps much safer.
Alright, and we're putting that concrete to use again as we block the lava flow here, and MrCab taking it safe here in a race setting, which I do not blame him for, to get through this section. And here we go, using that concrete shot for a platform, because as you said, that's a wide gap right there, and I can't tell you how many times I've died to that gap in this stage.
So Infinite Mystery taking on Splash Woman, once again acknowledging that she's the only Robot Master in this game that takes double damage from a pea shooter shot. Meanwhile, MrCab is just gonna buster Magma Man. His weakness is a tornado blow, but the stage you get it from is treacherous. You're probably gonna see Tornado Man stage come later, and the fact that tornado blow does not actually fully kill Magma Man with all his energy, unless you do some manipulating Magma Man. So using Buster is actually surprisingly recommended. All right, so Infinite Mystery is going boss weakness route and is going to Concrete Man. Mr. Cab having the option to go to either Galaxy or Hornet, as he has the weakness for both, and opting to go to Hornet Man. Rush Coil again, a lot of use. He's probably going to stick to Rush Coil to minimize the amount of time he's on the menu. Fortunately, a lot of the enemies in this stage are susceptible to Buster, so sticking with Rush Coil at this point is not a bad idea until you get to the mid-boss.
Which is pretty much right underneath us, as we are going to be switching to Concrete, and the flower is the second worst spot. But hey, quick concrete smashing, and it did.
Infinite Mystery. No, go ahead.
Infinite Mystery going through the pachyderms in Concrete's man stage. They take 12 Buster shots just to take one of those elephant down, and they hurt. Oh no! When the ball gets sucked right into Infinite Mystery, he's got to go all the way back to the beginning of the stage, I think. Yep.
The checkpoint is about a couple of screens after taking out those elephants, so this is quite a bit of a setback as far as Infinite's run goes, so really unfortunate on his end. Meanwhile, we got Mr. Cab about to go take care of Hornet Man, Magma Bazooka in tow. Of course, for those that aren't familiar with Mega Man 9, as far as weaknesses goes, this is one of the few weaknesses where the damage actually stacks on top of each other. So the Magma Bazooka is, especially when charged, just literally burns up Hornet Man.
Yeah, it pretty much just ruins Hornet Man's day. Alright, so Infinite Mystery once again going through the pachyderms, the robotic pachyderms. Yeah, these elephants hurt, so we generally don't want to be hugging them too much. So that's why he's taking it a bit safer. But the next screen's probably the most treacherous of the three, because, well, there's those gaps there, and well, if you just saw a few seconds ago, he did die. Just like that.
That one particular elephant just giving Infinite quite a rough time. Putting a little focus back on Mr. Cab as he begins his assault on Galaxy Man stage. This is a stage where you're probably going to see quite a bit of Rush Coil uses and a lot of uses of these enemies to help you go through these areas very quickly. But you got to be very careful because these enemies are specifically designed to run you down to the spikes. So you got to be a little precautious on how you ride along them, know when to jump properly, and know when each helicopter enemy comes, so you can go through the area very swiftly as opposed to just walking the entire area.
Yeah, so Mr. Cab's coming up to, in a couple screens, we'll be coming up to a section where there's one of these little helicopter enemies hanging out on the left side of the screen, and he's going to use that enemy to push him up to the higher section much faster than instead of walking. And if he's careless, he could get pushed right into a wall of spikes. Yeah, ooh, like that.
Keep setting him up, SB. Keep setting him up.
You know what? It's never a curse, it's always a blessing.
I'd rather go with coincidences, but whatever floats your boat. Let's see if Infinite's able. Oh,
3 for 3.
This one elephant is just giving Infinite the business.
Let's see if MrCab tries to take the helicopter again.
Yeah, when you try to go fast in this game, it pretty much just this is where the game just basically bears its fangs. It's like if you want to go fast, the game makes a literal complete effort to make sure you don't go that fast.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Either it works or it doesn't. And it looks like MrCab did get the concrete shot at the end there. So now we're still not getting 2 swoops from Galaxy Man either.
Into the air again. So literally the worst pattern for MrCab, but that's still a stage down.
Not 2 swoops, more like 2 holes.
Meanwhile, Infinite Mystery is about to take down his second elephant enemy, and we're gonna see if he's able to actually get by this third one that's really been Infinite Mystery's rough spot in concrete stage at this moment. Meanwhile, we got MrCab going to Jewel Man stage.
There we go. We're finally past it now. I don't know what his life situation is. He's got 3, so he should be okay.
So MrCab is doing something that I've seen some runners use. He's using concrete shot to go through these areas. One of the things we didn't talk about much is because really MrCab really didn't quite utilize it in that particular way, but the concrete shot is actually capable, depending on how close you are, you're actually able to do some mini zips when you're under it. If you're under an enemy and you shoot a concrete shot, you're able to jump a little bit, and the position of concrete shot is able to push you forward a little bit. Meanwhile, the cheese...
And that's the worst spot for the cheese ball. Or the second worst spot. The worst part is far left, but anyway.
Well, after some doing, Infinite Mystery is finally going to take on this concrete fight. Meanwhile, MrCab is on the final stretches of Jewel Man stage with this very dangerous jump, which he successfully navigates.
It scares me every time I see it.
Infinite Mystery running on thin ice, got a single unit of health, gets sniped by concrete. Yeah, right now, Concrete Man stage is having Infinite's number this race. Meanwhile, MrCab manipulating Jewel Man to kill him in 2 black hole bombs. Reminder, every time Mega Man jumps, Jewel Man jumps. So MrCab is manipulating Jewel Man so he's able to kill him with those 2 black hole bombs. And we'll see how far Infinite is behind MrCab in a little bit.
I believe it might be 2 or 3 at this point.
So we know... Yeah, right now we know that MrCab's on his 6th Robot Master, finally having the rush jet after beating Jewel Man.
Yeah, so again, to answer chat's question, MrCab is ahead by 3 Robot Masters.
So, Plugman stage. This stage runs on a global timer, specifically on the Yoku blocks. And since we got Rush Jet, we can navigate through the Yoku blocks and ignore them. But the thing is, if MrCab wants himself being off time, there is a situation where the Rush Jet can be in a position where MrCab is going to have to recover because the Yoku blocks are in a position where they are not favorable to navigate.
Oh no!
And that was not the global timer this time around.
No. So, get ready for some vanilla-ish jumping here.
Yeah, MrCab used quite a bit of rush jet, so we're gonna have to go all natural in Plugman stage.
So yeah, this is the reason why we really want to get jet as soon as possible. If you do it, and not intentionally do knock Infinite Mystery's way of routing, but again, our goal is to get to rush jet as soon as possible, and these Yoku blocks are just annoying, and we'd rather not do them if we can.
It's not that we want rush jet as soon as possible, because it's no matter what 5th robot master you defeat, you're gonna get the rush jet. It's more that you want rush jet to take care of the most annoying platforming areas, or at least make some stages shorter. So in the case of routing, you pretty much got to choose wisely in which 3 stages you want rush jet to go through. And it's pretty much almost set in stone that the 3 stages you're going to use them for are Plug, Splash, and Tornado.
And MrCab got the mom jump again. Alright, so Plugman, we got exact Jewel Satellite to kill it, and we plug away and it dies.
Yeah, it's beneficial that you don't use Jewel Satellite too quickly, but you do have a backup in Magma Bazooka, since it's probably the only other weapon that can probably do more than 1 damage thanks to its stacking capabilities.
Alright, so Infinite Mystery is still making his way through Galaxy Man. We're off to Tornado and MrCab stage, and we're going to see more of that rush jet here, as in a couple screens here, we're going to see the stage's main gimmick, which is a little magnet battery thing that goes back and forth. We're not going to ride those whatsoever because we have rush jet. We're just going to ignore them outright.
Yeah, doing the jet platform and all these batteries is very... Wait, MrCab not taking the lower route. He's actually trying to ride some of the batteries and use rush jet in tandem. Unfortunately, I personally don't know if that's faster to do it in that particular fashion, but as long as you do it right and don't die, it's always a good thing.
I believe that's the main part. You probably wouldn't have enough jet for the second battery section, but hey, it was still pretty cool to watch.
Galaxy Man not being kind to Infinite Mystery again, take it to the skies again.
Alright, down goes Galaxy for Infinite Mystery. And here we go with now weather effects. Now the rain is pushing back on MrCab, which makes this section in itself even more annoying. So this is, again, why we want Rush Jet. So then we don't have to deal with any of this. And then the next section, the rain's actually going to be to our backs, which is actually to our advantage. And we're going to watch MrCab just speed through this section here.
Yeah, notice that MrCab is jumping. The wind effect, oh!
Jumped
Ouch.
right into that umbrella enemy. And game's over. Well, at least he'll have all his energy back.
Yeah, because at that point, it will be a really rough situation. He's going to be going right back to the checkpoint with very little rush jet energy, and he's probably going to have to navigate the magnetic battery platforms without it, and with the rain against him. So it's probably a blessing in disguise that MrCab game overed.
Yeah, so one of the safe strats for that section is to switch to Jewel, as they'll one-shot all the umbrella enemies and pretty much go through it normally.
But yeah, as we were trying to say before, the Umbrella decides to push Mega Man to his untimely demise. When he was going through the final stretches with the wind to his back, we want Mr. Cat to actually be jumping because the wind effects will only take effect as Mega Man is jumping. So we want Mr. Cav as Mega Man to jump as many times as possible so he can navigate the area quickly. But of course, as you just seen, one false move, one false jump, and it's down the pit you go. Infinite taking out the cheese ball.
Alright, and let's see if the Umbrellas cooperate this time with Mr. Cab, and he is pulling out the Jewel Satellite for the safety.
So you can see the speed that he gets whenever he's in the air, much faster than he's walking, and because of this, you definitely would not need Rush Jet to get through the remainder of the area. But of course, as we said before, we got to take care of...
Infinite Mystery jumped right into that spike from the swinging platform.
Mr. Cab taking out Tornado Bro.
Yeah, that was definitely a Tornado Bro.
Took to the air for a little bit, but managed to stay down for the rest of the time. So yeah, that's definitely bro enough. But returning to Jewel Man stage, it's one of the reasons why this stage is such a treacherous stage to run through. It's probably one of the stages where there are spikes in so many annoying areas. It's real easy to die if your platformer is just not on point.
Alright, so Mr. Cab's going to go to Splash Woman last. And unlike on Infinite Mystery screen that we saw earlier, we're going to see some Rush Jet shenanigans in the middle portion when we get to the bubble section. As we're going to use that jet to platform to the top of the screen much faster, as well as through the disappearing platforms in the latter half of this stage.
It's basically Mega Man 9's version of Bubble Skip that we call it in Mega Man 5, but is, well, then again, I'm not sure. It visually looks easier, but I wonder, in comparison, is it truly easier than the Mega Man 5 version of the Bubble Skip with Super Arrow?
I will say, to each his own, but with this version, what it is we got the water physics helping us in this one.
Pardon. But yeah, pretty much the second half of the stage is pretty much where the Rush Jet goes to work as Infinite Mystery takes out Jewel Man on his end. So once again, he's using the Rush Jet to completely ignore these floating, disappearing platforms and just traverse the stage as quick as possible.
Mr. Cab trying to be probably a little too cute there, as he was trying to jump at probably the pinpoint spot to get onto that ladder, but fortunately it didn't cost him anything. Alright, so Splash Woman, we have the Hornets with us, and they are going to follow her across the screen, and even if they don't, they'll go after the little fishy she summons. But easy enough, and down she goes.
So that should be our 8 for Mr. Cab, and he has earned the right to go to Dr. Wily's castle, where the assault against Wily continues. Meanwhile, keeping tabs on Infinite Mystery, we got to remember that Infinite Mystery is going in weakness order. So unfortunately, by this point, he does not have his Rush Jet, as I believe at this point, Plug is his 5th Robot Master.
Yes.
So yeah, he will not have Rush Jet to navigate through Yoku blocks and unlike Mr. Cab initially, he's gonna have to do the Yoku blocks the normal way as intended.
Alright, so Mr. Cab's going to switch to Jewel Satellite to help him get through this first section of the castle quickly. And then he's going to switch to Rush Jet, and we're going to be seeing a ton of it in this stage as well. The game intended for you to use Tornado, to use these platforms here to get through, but why bother when we have Rush Jet?
So once again, we're going to continue to use Rush Jet throughout most of the area. Of course, you also got to realize that he's using this to save menu usage, because you don't want to be navigating through the menus one too many times. You want to stay in game as much as possible. So he's going to switch to Concrete right now. Managed to get a decently fast kill, as long as the Chanky Maker did not go off screen. So pretty solid kill on Cab's end. Continuing to use the Rush Jet to get through these magma jets.
Yeah, that's kind of why he's there. He missed his jump there and decided, you know what, I'm going to reset the room instead of trying to rush it.
Reminder of the energy tank that will never be caught by a Hornet Chaser.
It makes me sad that Hornet Chaser doesn't grab E-tanks every time I see it. Because I would certainly get that E-tank as opposed to the hidden one in Tornado Man stage. Alright, so we're coming up to the boss of Wily 1 here, where rhythm is a must, as these little spike balls are insta-death, but if you're in a good rhythmic pattern, you don't have to worry about the balls coming back at you.
So yeah, you got to destroy a specific number of these spike pusher enemies, and at the same time, they will have multitude of attacks. You see one of them aiming shots towards Mega Man. You got some that are pushing the spike balls directly back at him at different forces. Some pushing harder than others. But yeah, this is a tremendously annoying fight where a lot of things are going on at once. But Mr. Cab is able to handle it pretty well, and he's on his way to Wally 2.
It looks like Mr. Cab accidentally jumped on his Rush Jet there and lost some energy. Let's see what kind of backups he'll end up having to do later.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to be riding Rush on accident, because of course you also got to summon Rush, and that tax on time when you're trying to push the spike balls back. That little bit of dead time between the fight. So, Wally 2, the game continues to get more and more dangerous as bikes get in more treacherous positions. But you got Rush Jet, you got Concrete Shot. You're going to be using those a lot, at least in the first half of the stage, to try to get by some of these enemies and some of these platforming obstacles. Some more dangerous than others.
Some more dangerous than others. Looks like the flower is in the worst spot this time. But hey, good enough. As it goes down, we're going to refill our health and our Concrete Shot here.
So the underwater portions of Wally 2, you are going to see a lot of, not Concrete Shot, but a lot of Laser Trident. Of course, Laser Trident was able to help get these enemies active early, so you can manipulate them to be out of your way, so you can get to the ladders. But this is the section where the underwater section is at its most dangerous. A lot of spikes everywhere, a lot of low-hanging ceilings where jumps can be very dangerous. It's very easy to bonk and very easy to die as the spikes as a result. MrCab was able to navigate the area successfully, so MrCab has nothing to worry about for the most of the remainder of the stage. Just gotta take care of a little bit more platforming as he makes his way towards the end of the stage.
Alright, Infinite Mystery has pulled out his rush jet to ignore the battery section here in Tornado Man stage.
Like he's opting to get the extra life to make sure that his life count is as safe as possible. Meanwhile, MrCab is done with the vertical sets of screens and he's on his way to the Mega Mech Shark. So the Mega Mech Shark has 3 components. The first part is the tail end, where you're going to be using a lot of laser. Well, actually, you're probably going to see all 3 phases done in with the laser trident. But the first phase was taken out quickly. Is weak when the missiles are open. Oh, he decides to use the tornado blow here.
I mean, he's gonna get the M tank later, but that's interesting. He did not do that in the first race, but
yeah, all 3 phases are weak to the laser trident. But you probably see most of the time other people using different weak for the middle section. As you saw MrCab use the tornado blow, it uses all the energy to destroy it. In the first game, we actually saw Infinite Mystery use Magma Bazooka, as the Uncharted version did double damage to the weakness portions. So there's quite a bit of ways to take care of the second area of the Mega Mech Shark.
alright, so time for our Resident Sleeper section, as we got the slow vertical sections here. So to help pass the time, MrCab's going to do a dance for us, as Infinite Mystery is making his way through Magma Man state.
Infinite Mystery finally having his resident in tow, trying to use it to make some of the platforming in Magma Man stage a little bit safer. Magma Man is home to some very lengthy and dangerous jumps, while Wally 3 is dangerous for the exact same reason, but kind of different, because there are literally spikes everywhere. Opting to use the black hole bomb to take care of the Sniper Joes on his way to the second vertical scrolling area.
Alright, so in this vertical section here, there is an M tank on the right side of the screen. Now, you can buster yourself over, but there's also a copter enemy to beware of. So instead of bustering ourselves over, we're going to use that copter enemy to push us over, and then we're going to buster our way back. Just like that.
Making sure to take notice that MrCab is moving at a speed where he's able to grab the ladder. You can go too fast and wind up crashing onto the spikes, and sad times happen as a result.
Sad times indeed.
So MrCab is utilizing the laser trident section. The piercing aspect of the laser trident makes it a pretty solid weapon to go through these enemies with. You may also see other runners use Tornado Blow, but due to the spike ceiling and the fact that Tornado Blow actually augments your jump height, it's more of a either or, whether you want to use Trident or Tornado Blow in that stretch before our boss right here, the Twin Devil.
See if we get the one cycle.
I don't think we're getting one cycle.
He missed the first hit. I think he missed the first hit, yeah. And we're just going to go ahead and eat that M tank now, and just deal with the fact that it's a 2-cycle.
Yeah, he either opened the black hole bomb too early or he paused too early. Regardless of the fact, as you just mentioned, it's going to be a 2-cycle in this fight.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more of a menu too early, as the damage didn't happen, and because of that, he had to fire out a second black hole bomb to at least get the first damage. But hey, Devil Down, as Infinite Mystery is taking on Magma Man, and using that tornado to get him down to a quarter health and just finishing off with the Buster. And MrCab is on to refights.
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing about the devil fight is the fact that, as we just saw, MrCab use his M tanks. At this point, we would rather like to have the M tank available for this stage for the refights, especially since you're going to be needing a lot of concrete, because concrete is going to be really necessary for not only Galaxy Man, obviously, but we're going to be needing it for the parts of the Wily Machine fight. So MrCab is going to need to take notice of his ammo count when fighting Galaxy Man here, and Galaxy Man is yet again not being friendly. We have some very unfriendly Galaxy Man fights in these races.
Ooh, and MrCab missing one of his concrete shots. That's going to cost him, as he'll have to switch to another weapon when he gets to the machine and the second part of the machine.
Infinite Mystery taking an unfortunate death using the rush coil trying to get to that bolt.
And MrCab missing his jewel satellite on Plugman here, but using the Magma Bazooka as a backup.
And he wisely goes to Hornet Man, knowing that he already has Magma Bazooka equipped, so he might as well just go ahead and take out Hornet Man.
Now let's see if he goes to Magma next to get, yep. So he's gonna use the bazooka to get Magma Man down to quarter health, and then he'll switch to Tornado to finish him off.
Put him at a low enough health so he knows that the Tornado Blow will kill.
Alright, on to Tornado Man next. Let's see if he's going to be a burrow for MrCab again. Not at all.
Yeah, that's definitely a no-bro tornado.
Alright, so we got Jewel Man next. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about making sure we get all 5 hits, but hey, we're gonna get all 5 hits in 2 shots anyway. Alright, Splash Woman, we got the Hornet Chaser out. See if any of the Hornets go after the fishies. Almost a perfect fight, but hey, Robot Master down anyway.
Infinite Mystery with the worst possible flower. Hornet Man giving Infinite quite a bit of a rough time this race, as MrCab skillfully takes out Concrete Man as he begins his Wily Gauntlet. So the first phase, we want these eggs to hit his jawline. The laser trident is probably the easiest to work with. You can use Buster to reflect the shots, but the piercing nature of the laser trident makes it much easier to keep the eggs high along his jawline, so it's easier to hit when the eggs hit on his third time.
Alright, so here we go with the second phase, and he fires too early. So
we're probably going to see some backup Magma Bazookas to mitigate the time loss from not having all his concrete shot available.
There we go. And we're gonna get one shot off with the bazooka as and miss. Looks like.
The Wally slots. Oh, here we go. I was about to say the Wally slots were starting to be a little ruthless, but it looks like Wally is beginning to cooperate a little bit.
Wow, 2 in a row low. Wow. That was an okay capsule, but I would not say the greatest. It looks like Mr. Cab's finishing with a 40-minute and 37-second time. GG's.
That will give Mr. Cab the victory over Infinite Mystery. But of course, Infinite Mystery, knowing him, he's not the kind of guy that gives up. Well, hang on, we're getting word here. Seeing what Infinite Mystery decides to do here. Looks like on SRL, it's Infinite Mystery's taking a little bit of time giving the GGs to Mr. Cab for his finish. Great sportsman, Infinite Mystery is. I'm about to say, seeing Infinite Mystery stop for a little bit made me worry that I was going to decide to forfeit, but that's not the Infinite I know. It just isn't.
All right, let's see if we can get Mr. Cab in here for an interview.
I'll go get him.
Okay, while you're getting him, we'll keep eye on Infinite Mystery. Hey,
But
Mr.
anyways-
Cab.
Hey,
GG's on your race.
there's a GG and then there was a G, but thanks.
It's GG enough. You finished both races.
Oh boy.
But yeah, go through that second race. There was a lot of interesting scenarios to go around that time around.
I'm going to beg off and call that one the one where I've got a headache and I'm just feeling tired. I'm not sure why. And just kind of leave it there. Everybody has a bad game now and again. Well, you just saw one. And from there, it's just get back up and just, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of Mega Man 9 in a nutshell. There are just so many things that can just go wrong in the such a treacherous and dangerous game. There's so many dangerous areas. Better you than me.
And that one jump in Hornets Man stage just hates me today. I'm not sure why.
Remind me, what jump was that again?
It was the
It was a long section with the scissors and the zips.
it was after the 2 bolts in the middle of it. The jump up to the next platform, I just couldn't get it at all. And that was the death in the first run too.
Ooh,
Otherwise, that would have been a lower 35, and we would have been talking about how the casino treated me.
Yeah, it was actually both casinos weren't too bad. I think they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, the second one was really good. I just didn't execute on it. And at that point, I was just like, let's just finish. Let's get out of here.
All right, so with that, you improve your standings to 2-1, and you have completed your rounds in your group. How you feeling about your chances within the group, or how you feel about the runs as a whole within those 3 races?
Outside of this last one, I think they were all pretty good. Slash, I probably went a little easy on, at least as far as like my strats go. Like I played it too safe. That's what I'm really looking for here. I took it too easy on myself and it wasn't pushing hard enough, and that made those probably a little closer than they should have been. BTFM, I was like, all right, let's just go, and I actually was like on PB pace for a couple of those runs. That's the run I need to have, like those 2 runs, and then the one I had here against Infinite Mystery, where I just kind of said, all right, let's do this. Was picking up new strats as we went, because whoever I'm up against in the first round of the bracket, I'm gonna need probably better than a 35 if I'm gonna win.
Well, yeah, as far as the brackets are concerned, if we're taking the top two placers right now, you're definitely in the driver's seat to take the second spot.
Yeah, I think this actually clinches it.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
That's it.
Let's see. Let's bring the bracket here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any potential for a tie break. Well,
there is.
Yeah, there is potential for a tie break if Slash is able to win his next 2 races.
Yeah, Slash beats Infinite Mystery and BTFM. You probably have to have a play-in.
Slash has to beat BTFM. That would have to happen.
Yeah,
that's possible. But that if he wins that race, he can have the bracket spot. He's earned it.
How generous of you.
But yeah, do you have any parting words before? Because I'm pretty sure you probably have other things to do. Of course, you can stick around and check out Infinite Mystery, finish out his race if you want.
I think I'm going to hang out and chat with everybody else and watch this. I'm loving the alternate strats here. Like I think when Mannix has been commentating races, the 1 or 2 I've caught, he's like talked about this too. It's like these things you don't even think of to use, like the Jewel satellite in that room with the Joes in the middle of Wily 3, Magma Bazooka on the bottom of the Shark Tank. Those were like really just fun to see, and I want to see them again. Go Infinite.
Well, as you head out, once again, congratulations, Cab, on your wins, and hopefully, assuming you go to the bracket stage, you'll continue to do well as the tournament continues.
Thanks. Thanks for commentating the race, and thanks everybody else here too at SpeedGaming, and because I know this was a last-minute schedule. I think we scheduled this at like 2 in the afternoon, and we just kind of jumped and made this happen. I'm told I need to send my Monopoly money to Ganon, according to a couple of people, and we'll see what happens.
Looks like
later, everybody.
Looks like Infinite Mystery is opting to farm weapon energy here.
Can I be a little stupid for a quick bit and say shoutouts to TV interference?
Good. I wasn't going to be the one to say it.
God bless these old TVs. Use what you got. Sometimes HD TVs, LCD TVs are overrated. Sometimes.
I don't have time to use your fandangled LCDs.
But back to the actual gameplay. Infinite Mystery is closing in on the spike pushers. Yeah, I'm gonna be using the rush jet for these sections. It's not necessary for the first jump, but yeah, for the little stretch of the spikes in the second half of the screen is obviously necessary and required. All right, so once again, for the 4th time in this race, spike pushers, same annoying enemy, same tactic every time. Different song, same verse. So we see Infinite trying to plug these shots in and use the spikes to ram them straight into these specific enemies. So you gotta do it in such a way where you don't eat shots and have these balls continue to just push towards you because these spikes are instant death. Of course, each enemy turret has a different mode of attack. As you saw, there are some that shoots big shots and forces the ball in a wider distance, while some have the smaller shots that steadily creeps the ball towards you, and you got the ones that aim these arrow-looking energy attacks and they're aimed towards you. So yeah, there is a lot going on in this fight, and it just makes this one of the most annoying fights in the general Mega Man franchise. I mean, we didn't necessarily have to say it all because you're seeing it for yourself. As Infinite Mystery is able to take out the spike pushers and go to Wally 2. Siberian Bull taking a little bit of a break while Infinite Mystery continues on, so I'll be keeping tabs on Infinite Mystery while Siberian Bull comes back. I want you to take the chance to fill up a lot of enemies. Oh yeah, agrees Sosman. Blue Beam is up there as far as one of the worst. There are quite a number of Mega Man bosses that could stake his claim as the worst boss. Looks like Infinite Mystery is going to take the lower route and take the scenic route to navigate through specific areas of Wally 2 and use the jet for, yeah, that's probably the strat you're always going to see. You're always going to see the rush jet fly over that final stretch of spikes towards the ladder to get to the next section of the stage. Infinite opting to use the dual satellite to reflect the Joe shots and to bypass that particular area. As MrCab said earlier in his interview, it's always interesting to see different kinds of strategies that multiple players take, as Infinite unfortunately gets the worst flower pattern. It continues to just troll Infinite in these terrible, terrible places, opting to finish him off with Buster as he's low on concrete. One thing Infinite could consider possibly doing is using a full charge Magma Bazooka if concrete runs low. The stacking effect of shooting all three Magma Bazookas still hold true even to this flower mid-boss. Something to keep in mind for anyone willing to play Mega Man 9.
Alright, so we're in the underworld section, which is a death trap in itself. And once again, I look at that E-Tank down there and can only wonder why the programmers decided that, hey, the Hornet Chaser can grab anything on screen but E-Tanks.
Infinite taking great care with his jumps. Easily one of the scariest sections in the Wally stages. For that reason, very easy to bonk your head on the ceiling, the very low ceiling, and just fall right into the spikes.
Yeah, because Mega Man has a big old head, and for some reason, it's got to get all the way out to jump.
Many lives have been lost in that section. Many lives.
That's why Infinite Mystery stocked up on him.
So Infinite Mystery is about to try his jumps again. But, oh, he just went for it that time, and he was unable to get his jump button this time around, and just dips in. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. I was just expecting Infinite to take it a little more careful at that moment.
As I said, this underwater section is a death trap in itself.
So it looks like we got take 3 for this particular stretch of screens. We're gonna see if Infinite decides to go gung ho yet again, or he's gonna be a little more careful. Yeah, he was going for it. Oh, he wanted to jump. That's a new one.
Gotta tell you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's for sure. With that spot.
You even got the rare situation where you die while you're actually shooting and landing on the spikes at the same time while falling. That's basically frame perfect.
Not like this.
I missed the pause. Were you able to see Infinite's life count?
I will in a moment here when it gets to the next screen, or in a couple screens here when he switches to Trident. Last life. Let's see if he takes the time to pick up that extra life. Yep. So 2.
So at least has another chance if he takes them. I'm not gonna
did it.
say a word.
You did it. You thought it, and therefore you killed him. You're a murderer.
Better in video games than in real life.
Hey, don't put it on me. I didn't say it.
Well, right now this is Infinite's last chance to get by this complete stretch. But it shows why this game is such a rough game. The platforming in this stage is, well, you heard me say throughout this particular set of races, but it still continued to hold true. This is just such a treacherous game to try to navigate, especially towards the end game, where spikes are plentiful and platforming is tight. Anyway, Infinite was able to navigate through the underwater area and is now on the last sets of screens before he gets to the Mega Max Shark.
Yeah, he's got to be extra careful too, as he's only got the 1 life left. But he does have 4 E-tanks, so that's a plus.
Assuming he decides to use them.
I would see no reason not to. I would at least want to get out of this stage before dying again.
Stranger things have happened. But there goes our big boy taken down, and now we're at the doors of the Mega Max Shark. So, once again, the Mega Max Shark, all 3 phases are weak to the Laser Trident. but some areas, specifically the second part where you get the under portions where these shark drones fire, they also have different weaknesses as well. And yeah, Infinite decided to use one of the surprising weaknesses that only a few of us never thought of. You're gonna use the magma bazooka, as even when uncharged, it deals double damage to these undercarriages here.
Yeah, I am more curious at how much damage they do full charged.
But yeah, we suspect Infinite to finish the mouth off with the laser trident.
There we go. Using one of those E-tanks in a wise spot.
And down goes our shark. So Infinite, after quite a bit of doing, was still able to finish off Wally 2 and gets on his way to Wally 3. Never say die. Never say die. Though at this point, I wonder he might take a strategic game over. As he
It looks as
contemplates
hell.
his
Well, it's a long way to the closest spike. So let's see what he does.
Well, Infinite probably could have just taken a lot of damage from those big mamas and probably died that way, but Infinite decides to keep going. But yeah, Wally 3, these slow vertical scrollers where the gravity just lifts them up. Very slow, very uneventful until the second set, but still nothing to really worry about.
All right, let's see what he does. Let's see how careful he is through this section. All right, right on through.
Assessing his weapon ammo to see what he wants to be filled, he's opting for Tornado this time around. Of course, this stage is home to the M tank, so when he goes to the second half of the stage and goes to the second vertical scroller, there's a spot in the vertical scroller at the very end where the E tank, but the M tank lies in wait. There is a helicopter enemy that's there on the far left, and under most circumstances, you will probably would go to the left in order to have the helicopter enemy drag you straight to the M tank. Of course, if you want to get risky with it, you can do it on your own with the Buster and just try to get it there. But you got to be careful because of the helicopter enemy, because it's still there, it's lying in wait, and it will try to drive you to the spikes for an unsuspecting player. Speaking of which, there goes that M tank that we just spoke of.
All right, now he's got 2 lives again.
But yeah, these final stretches of screens before we go to the twin devil, very, you don't want to jump too high.
You know,
Let's just be frank.
you don't want
do
to
not
jump too high.
too
You don't want to go. Okay. I was legit worried for him there.
Wisely using the Jewish satellite to reflect the enemy projectiles. Once again, solidifying its spot as probably the most powerful shield in the Mega Man series. Uh,
All right, so 5 shots of the black hole bomb for Twin Devil here.
we're probably not going to see Infinite go for the easy Devil strat, so we're probably going to see 5 full passes of the Devil fight. But as long as he doesn't miss a shot, it should only be those 5. Black Hole Bomb has a very wide hitbox and it lasts for quite a while. It's fairly easy to get a Black Hole Bomb shot. Probably the only thing about this boss is knowing when the core is exposed. That's probably the only thing that probably will make this thing hard for newcomers of the game to know when to time a Black Hole Bomb shot.
That had to be the perfect pixel right there, not to get hit by the green part of the devil.
All right, one more pass. But Infinite's got to still survive some hits. He's running low on health, but he does have quite a bit of E-takes. I'm pretty sure he'd be willing to pop one if he thinks it's necessary.
I think he has the rhythm here, and he should be fine on this pass. Yep, there we go. Down goes the Twin Devil.
So we got one more Wally stage left. So it's out to a little bit of stage gameplay, the refights, and the Wally Machine Gauntlet. So yeah, so for most circumstances, you probably will be strapped on weapon ammo for Wally 4. Especially for Concrete, because these lasers here, we haven't been talking about them much, but of course you've been seeing them as the race progresses. The Concrete shot does block these laser shots, but Concrete is such an important weapon in this stage that you'll more than likely will be more willing to damage boost through these lasers than actually use Concrete to block them off. And of course, if there's a Met nearby, you should prioritize getting hit by a Met or its shots as compared to hitting the lasers, as obviously the lasers do deal more damage.
Yes, the one time you want to get hit by a Met.
All right. So Infinite's boss rush begins, and I almost think he wanted to go to Galaxy, but ends up falling down. So he decided to commit to Splash.
I said, I'm here already, so I might as well. Now we're doing Galaxy. Missing with one of his concrete shots there. That's gonna cost him.
Well, we did see 2 swoops. So in general, RNG has been presented to Infinite, well, up until this point. One thing you haven't seen that actually no runner really done, I don't think Cab did at any time during his race, but you can seal up the black hole bomb with the concrete shot. But it's not recommended since, yet again, we need concrete shot for the rest of the fights.
You won't see it in the refights, but you'll see it in his normal stage.
Concrete Man showing off a little bit.
Concrete
Noting that
Man being a jerk.
his jump does cause a tremor effect. So you do not want to be standing on the ground when Concrete Man lands. Down goes Jewel. Next up is Hornet. Using the Magma Bazooka stacking capabilities to render the fight a little quicker. Now let's see how he takes on Magma Man. Was that a double?
I think he did get the double.
That was a double.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, rare footage of a double head on Magma Man.
I think that's the second time we've seen that in this tournament.
And I will qualify that as a tornado bro for that.
Yep, that was absolutely a tornado, bro.
Alright, final robot master. Gotta take down Plug Man. Gotta use the exact ammo to take him out. So Infinite Mystery taking quite a bit of care so he doesn't miss a shot.
Alright, time for the machine. I believe he has 3 E-tanks on him for this fight.
He also should have his M-Tank. I did not see him use his M-Tank yet.
He'll probably end up using it in the second phase as he won't have enough concrete shot. We might be seeing one of those E-tanks now. Okay.
Because he decides to start from scratch. Fortunately, he at least had the lives to do it.
Well, at least he'll start with full health.
So one more time for the road. The first phase of the Waller machine, you gotta reflect these eggs right back into his jawline, which is his weak spot. Laser Trident is easier to deal with for its piercing nature and its ability to rapid fire. So you can double shot and reflect them back a little faster and easier. But Buster is capable of doing the job, as you see Infinite do here. But you got to be careful because it's very easy to get off rhythm with these eggs. Second phase, we need, I believe, 7 concrete shots.
Not in rapid fire like that, but yeah.
Opting to finish him off with the Buster.
It's interesting that he decided not to proc the M-Tank.
Probably saving it for the plug ball because of how screwy that fight can get.
Alright. Time for the capsule. We pull the lever on the roulette machine, and here we go!
Right now, Infinite's luck is relatively average, and holy crap, please pop tank. Yep, here we go. The trolliness of the water capsule that we all know and love. There we go. Pop it in the Hornet Chaser for that final kill. So we got Infinite Mystery finishing up with an official time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG to Infinite for finishing his match.
Let's see if he'll come in for an interview. So as we try and see if Infinite Mystery wants to come in for an interview, I want to take the time again to thank SpeedGaming for hosting the MM9 Any Tournament. We couldn't do it without all the volunteers that helped put this together, and we hope that you will check us out for the next scheduled race, which is going to be, for the schedule here, tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. We got a mod in Darko, so look forward to that.
Yeah, we got a full slew of races throughout the entire week. To complete the schedule lineup, we got, after the Tuesday race, we got one on Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. between 8-Bit is Great and Metroid Master. On Saturday, February the 22nd at 3 p.m., we got Volrath and Flalom, or for some of us who know him a little more as Hyper. And we got a double dose on Sunday, February the 23rd, where BTF Film faces Slash Arbiter, and at 9 p.m. on the same day, we got Soulspin versus Krebelstorm. So we got quite a bit of races going on throughout the week. So of course, stay tuned and keep your eyes out on the Speed Gaming channels for whenever these matches show up. But for right now, this is it for our race. So once again, GG's to MrCab and Infinite Mystery for their race. It was good to see both of these runners do their stuff. And of course, thanks to Speed Gaming again for give us a channel to host the the tournament, and for SJA for hosting the tournament in and of itself. And of course, my commentary compadre, Siberian Bull 9, for working with me this evening.
It's always a pleasure commentating with you, Creed.
And of course, this is your boy LV Creed, signing out. Have a good night, everyone, and check out the next race when it comes out. Take care, everyone.